shades, letting her go, letting her rip, letting her fly, tossing her in sideways, living the life, letting her ride, outside, winning to die, cross her up on the cushion, crossing the line, cause some drama and some bullshit they didn't like, and if they don't like the move, then we're ready to fly. But this is how we ride, this is how we do, riding mud, sliding up higher in the groove, don't give a damn about the cash we're spending, with the time we got we choose, to play it on the go, to stay out on the run, we all high, wide and handsome, ain't telling you what's right or wrong, or what to choose, hey, but this is how we do. Like I'm in Mosquito, and they can growl about it. Lonely like old bro Joe. Cartel gonna care for me, not you, cause I'm the CEO. I'm here to fight, looking to sink with my torpedo. I'm just a lap car trying to survive, running in the back, fearing my life. Cause there's a black and 2041 guy adding to the junk in the field with some white on white crimes. Or is it 99 maybe? I don't give a damn, but the bank statements lately adding up through the junk that the crazy man's making, wrecking her, wrecking him, non-binary maybe, who knows? If I don't like him, I slide him like Carlson Mosquito, and they can growl about it. Lonely like old bro Joe. Cartel gonna care for me, not you, cause I'm the CEO. I'm here to fight, looking to sink with my torpedoes. Carlson Mosquito. And I don't know where we go from here and what we think about it, but it seems to me, gotta be about it. Time for talk and speak comes across as weak, especially when dotting I's are crossing T's. It seems to be what they all want and what they need. And then you'll go, oh, oh no, just like them cars. Down one he goes, and then they get to finally feel like Carlson Mosquito. If I don't like him, I slide him like Carlson Mosquito, and they can growl about it. Lonely like old bro Joe. Cartel gonna care for me, not you, cause I'm the CEO. I'm here to fight, looking to sink with my torpedoes. Carlson Mosquito. If I don't like him, I slide him like Carlson Mosquito, and they can growl about it. Lonely like old bro Joe. Cartel gonna care for me, not you, cause I'm the CEO. I'm here to fight, looking to sink with my torpedo. As long as we make the show, we can be the best or we can be the worst. So we can be the best thing you ever heard. With the motor singing and the grandstands ringing, it's hard to put it all in words. But this is how we ride, this is how we do. Riding mud, sliding up higher in the groove. Don't give a damn about the cash we're spending. With the time we got, we choose to play it on the go, to stay out on the run.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are here today with the lights on. The lights are still available. Oh yes, the lights are still available. We are here. That would happen. But anyways, we'll go ahead and turn the music down. We are here on a, what is it, Tuesday? Is it a Tuesday? On a Tuesday, I think it is a Tuesday. Ladies and gentlemen, here on the show, we are preparing, getting ready to go to PRI. We haven't been to PRI in a few years. I plan on going there, talking to people, meeting people, greeting people, maybe getting yelled at by some people as well. That's how it goes. Unfortunately or fortunately, that is how it goes here in the world when you speak what you think. Um, we do have a few things to talk about on the show today. Obviously we just went to the Gateway Dirt Nationals this last weekend, Saturday. We ran around the Gateway Dirt Nationals asking people questions and getting a little rowdy and went throughout the town and uh, generally had a good time. But something that always came up with the dome. In fact, let me put the pictures up on the screen here of some of the pictures that we actually took. Sorry, get it right. This was from the top of the facility. If you haven't ever been, once again, it's a great viewing pleasure just to see a track in a dome like this. This is one of the more higher points of the facility. But while we were going around doing all this and that, one of the more um, relevant questions, and I guess a lot of people were intrigued or happy to hear the thoughts of potentially having sprint cars in the dome. Of course, here is a shot from the track on the outside of turns 1 and 2. Of course, seating all the way around the track. And you can kind of see how big this track actually is. I mean, those are full size late models there dropping her into 1 and 2. And there's a pretty good corner left to go. I know some people like to call this track small. It is small, obviously. It's in a dome, but it's not extremely small. Now, a lot of people were asking me, what do you think could happen in sprint cars? And, you know, um, obviously Cody and me had the discussion on the show about it, how much it would cost, $1 million. He thinks it could be a standalone weekend. I personally do not. I think that the late model fan base is extremely larger than the open wheel fan base. Their culture supports its own in a way, just in the fendered category. And I would call this more so a separation of fendered fans versus open wheel fans in the dirt community. I think that there are a significant more amount of cars, obviously, in the fendered world. And when I say fendered world, I mean everything from a dang, front wheel drive to a IMCA hobby stock to a bomber to a modified to the super late model, all the crate late models. It's all up in there. And then the fans of those divisions as well. They all seem to go together. You rarely see, for instance, like a IMCA stock car hate on a super late model fan or race, or a modified guy hate, super late models. Whereas in our world, I mean, you got wing fans who don't like non-wing and midget fans who don't like wing and wing fans who don't like midgets. I mean, we've heard recently, a lot of people don't really care about the Chili Bow who are 410 wing fans. And I think that's, very fine. That's perfectly fine, especially how the culture of the midget industry has went. But I think due to all these circumstances, as well as the Jeff Gordon to Scott Bloomquist effect, how I think more money's went into being a Scott Bloomquist since the '90s, and their industry shows it with not only fandom but support for teams. I think that's why they have a lot more. Where our industry, has spent so much money, and one of the reasons the midget industry is how it is because they've been spending the kind of money to get the little kiddies up into NASCAR for a very long time. Now, obviously, that's not everybody, but I still think that there is a slow swing in the modern era to where that kind of is dying off, no matter how much Corey Day's going and all this stuff. That's really not as culturally shifting or as cool, I don't think, anymore. Maybe it's a career move now, but it don't carry the fame or the extreme, attention that it used to make that leap from the sprint car open wheel world into NASCAR. It's kind of like, oh, well, You know, who cares about you now? You left our sport. Finally, people are seeing that. But I think that there's also a swing of cultural shift in just racing and motorsports in general, of people being intrigued by the sprint car racer, the racing, the excitement that it does bring. But I still think, once again, the overall issue with doing a standalone weekend with the sprint cars at the Dome is just not going to work because of the fan base just not being as big as the Fendered fan base is. Now, obviously, if you could find a way to add the sprint car fans to the Dome, you'd have to uncover the rest of the seats that you see in this photo. So in this photo, you see that the seats are all open on the bottom section. The top section where I'm taking this photo from is about from where the screen is on the other side. You see the screen above the racetrack on the other side. It's open from there all the way to the screen on the side I'm at. Now, that back section up top is covered. You can kind of see that in this photo. And then that lower section below, or above the bottom and below the top section, that one is all covered as well. So there's a decent amount of room left to fill that if you could add some kind of sprint car presence to this event in some capacity, I think that's where you legitimately could sell out this entire Dome, which I would say adds another 15 to 20,000 people. I think you could instantly do that by just including some form of sprint car race into this Dome scenario. Now, here's what I'm saying by this. When I was asked, I didn't post the video because we got extremely drunk in ruckery. Ruckery should be a word. We got ruckus, and we caused some ruckery. We may still post the video. It's all fun. We're normal. But I think that an idea I had that could work to potentially add that, and I think would be the number one most viewed. I know they said that the Gateway Dirt Nationals was the number one most viewed event in flow racing history already. But I think something that could almost, I mean, I'm not going to say double, but something that would be so extremely intriguing. I think the attention of an idea where the sprint cars do not come here and race a standalone weekend or add in as a third class like the midgets did. We're not doing any of that. I think that takes a little too much time. I've heard the complaints, and I've heard the people who don't really like the idea because of XYZ and situations and all that. And I get it. I will say that I didn't run into any late model fans that wouldn't reject the idea. Everybody was really hyped up about it. That's why they kept asking me about it. Everybody seems like it would be a really good thing to see. And I think that would be a extreme hype area to see sprint cars on this track. Now, I think the way you properly do it is you put on a sprint car showcase. So, Saturday, for instance, you get past all the qualifiers, the last chancers, you have your main event set for the late models and the modifieds. I say that when they shut everything down to get into that main event era of the night, they do a track rework and all that. And then I think right there, you do a sprint car showcase, an exhibition race, pay it well for the people who attend. And the people who will attend in that sprint car showcase event would be invited. And the invitees would be only about 10 cars. I'm thinking you invite the top 5 from High Limit. And I'm thinking you invite the top 5 from the World of Outlaws. And maybe if some of them reject, you throw in Brad or Kyle or whatever. I mean, at this point, you're just trying. So you invite the best of the best, 10 cars. It's a small track now. We ain't got to worry about a 20-car pileup. You got the 10 best cars in the country. You pay them a decent amount of money to even show up. Now you could pay them actually very well because you don't have to pay a full field's purse at all. So you could pay those 10 cars that show up, all of them $5,000, or make it 20 to win and $5,000 to start. 10 cars, and you have a sprint car showcase with the 10 best sprint cars in the world on Saturday night prior to the modified and late model main events. And I think when you do something like that, you're minimizing your chances to have a wreck because you're putting the best drivers on the track. You're also not taking over this event, because I think that is something to have to worry about. I think that it should be deservingly so a late model show, a fendered event. And I know some people like to say, well, the Chili Bowl is a sprint car event. Once again, midgets and sprint cars are not the same in 2025 into 6. They're just not. The fan bases aren't. The racing isn't. Yeah, we get some decent racing at the Chili Bowl because sprint car drivers go there, but there's still a big split between the midget fan base and the sprint car fan base, even though there are some who mingle on both. So I think that would be the best way to add a sprint car flair onto this with the best drivers in the world, and also the added element of high limit versus the world of outlaws. I just think that would be, and once again, you could pay the teams very well just to attend. I just think that is a home run idea that not only will be extremely entertaining. Once again, you do your track rework for the main events. The sprint cars will go out there and they'll build a nice cushion. They'll almost do track prep for the divisions to come. Not only will it be extremely entertaining, but I'm just telling you, when those cars go out there to run this race, obviously they get a hot lap or something. No heat races, no nothing like that. Just a 20-lap, 10-car exhibition. When they go to do this race, everyone in the world is going to be watching this. Like, everyone in the world. I can't think of anybody who would not. You're adding Australia, by the way, at that point, too. And I also think that you need to uncover the rest of the stands, because Indiana's coming. Now all the sprint car people in Knoxville are coming. The PA people are flying in. The Wisconsin fans are coming. The California people are coming. You're going to be able to sell this, even though you could do it with the late models and modifieds on your own, do a little sprint car showcase. Don't take over the event and be rude to the late model fans. Something like that would instantly fill this dome on Saturday night. I think it would sell out instantly. Not instantly, but I think it would instantly be a sellout capacity. I don't think you would be able to show up and buy tickets on Saturday next year if you was to do this idea. Now, obviously, people would be like, oh, well, it's on flow, blah, blah, blah. Well, once the outlaw season's over, it's kind of like a free agency. High Limit right now is promoting Carson Macedo and Buddy Kofoid going to Perth. So once World Finals is over, they're kind of free. So you could make this happen. And honestly, we had Lance DeWeese on the show last night. We brought up this event, the Dirt Cup. And, it'll be interesting to see who's going to be streaming this event. This is, of course, the race at Muskingum County with the Luxo late models and World Outlaw late models, and an invite-only event. Funny enough, I was saying this on Saturday to fans and stuff, and then this happens the same night before I even knew this was happening. They got to think who's going to be streaming it. I think, like I said with Lance last night, that these are events where you could take it to an Amazon Prime. Where Amazon Prime or some bigger entity is funding Flow and Dirt Vision to host these match races or events. So like Saturday night at the Dome next year, it's on Prime or some bigger conglomerate that's supplementing, the loss in money to these broadcast companies. But regardless, I think that is the way you incorporate sprint cars in some way to the Dome, and it not costing a whole weekend, not costing $1 million, obviously, to do this. Costing a little bit, making it very small, 10 cars. So now you're not worried, 10 of the best. You're not worried about, once again, big pile ups and all this and push and flip aspects. You're gonna have the best 10 in the world. And then once again, the allure, being able to see 410 sprint cars rip around this racetrack. Once again, let me show you that photo. It's bigger than you think. This track's bigger than the action track, for instance. I'd say the action track is almost 3/4 this size, or maybe even less. I think it's close to Placerville. My opinion, that's about the width. It's actually, I would say it's wider than Placerville. But as far as actual length, I think it's about a Placerville length. Little smaller than Jacksonville, obviously a different shape. Jacksonville's kind of more sweeping, but I just think that's a win-win. I think it's the greatest idea on how to implement some kind of sprint car flair, just a cherry on top to the event. And once again, I just think come Saturday it would be unbelievably full in this arena if you was to add on that fan base of the dirt track racing community. That's just what I am thinking. Anyways, let's see here. We're going into the comments just real quick. I know nobody anticipated us to be on tonight, but we are going to be going to PRI. We actually, funny enough, we actually asked Lance on Saturday, hey, you want to do a show? He liked it. He thought it'd be good. He's like, what night you want to do? I was like, well, I don't want to step on Jeremy. Let's do Monday. And then we do Monday, and Jeremy goes live on Monday. So now Jeremy's not live tonight because he's going to PRI or is on the way or flew there already. And it's like, okay, well, I guess I mean I could follow suit and do a little live before I go to PRI because I do plan on going to PRI. I'll be there Thursday 100%. Probably will break the travel up into 2 days. It's an 8-hour drive. Flights, I'm not paying $600 to go there and back. I'll drive. But we do have hotels. We'll be leaving out those Saturday, I think. Weather is going to be very treacherous for traveling out of Indiana and even here back to the Knoxville, Iowa area. So, looks similar size to Path Valley. I would say it's about, I'm going to say just a smidge. Well, actually, if you're looking at it from a Google Maps perspective, because Path Valley is extremely banked, I would say you're about right. It is probably about the same size as Path Valley, just not extreme gigantic banking. The shape's a little different. It's about as wide. Path Valley's pretty wide. But yeah, I think it would be entertaining. 410s will flip into the stands, rough as the dome track is. No, that's just not the case. I think that's why you do it after a little track rework, after the qualifiers and all that. That's when you hot lap the cars and you run a little race. Heck, do a little foot race to see where somebody's going to start or shoot starting position T-shirts into the stands like they do for the late models anyway and modified. So I think that could be a way to do that. But I think it's the perfect way to sprinkle that show or sprinkle a showcase, an event with some sprint cars, get it involved in there and put on the show that a lot of people want to see. Anyways, obviously some news that did happen yesterday is Donny Schatz and him joining CJB. We did just have it on the screen, but they had to be nice and take it off. CJB and Donny Schatz joining forces. People are wanting kind of know what I think about this. I mean, I think it's cool. It's definitely an established organization. I'm a big fan of Barry running the team over there, and they're kind of working together with some wise seasoned veteran based ideologies. Of course, Landman just killing it over there with the coverage of this. Really good shows there with Donny. I think it's going to be interesting to see how this does work out. Obviously, Brenham Crouch still running in high limit for CJB, so two separate organizations. I'm sure people who are going to call in are going to be more so wanting to talk about this subject. We did have a chat poll going. I'm not sure here. Let's see. We did have a chat poll going here on Donny Schatz. We were just curious what y'all think. And we put up there, well, Donny Schatz has 5 more than 5 wins in 2026. Sorry, and 62% of y'all have said no so far. So I don't know. I mean, 38% say yes. I think that's the over under right now. I think it's at least. I think they're going to win. Over under at 5, I think is fair for this pairing first year. You never know though. It is Donny shot still. This could be low. It could be high. Obviously, the poll is moving here. Just a little bit. Hold on. Let me open this up for you just a little bit. The poll is moving there. Donny Schatz has more than 5 wins in 2026. Oh, it's moved now. 61% saying no, 39% saying yes. I think that's a fair over-under if it was a betting scenario, for instance. Now it's moving again, 62-38. We're going to let that poll keep rolling. 29 of you have participated in the vote. We're just highlighting it right now. But it just shifted down, shifted back up, 30 votes in. It seems like 63-37. We'll keep that thing going. Donny Schatz has more than 5 wins in 2026. If you think he'll have 5 or more, push yes. If you think he will have 5 or less, push no. Of course, we'll be having y'all in the chat here very soon. Calling in, Chaz 2028. Well, thanks for the compliments. Anyway, one of the situations I wanted to talk about outside of that, we'll keep it keyed up, is this Snowball Derby scenario. I mean, I'm not an asphalt guy. I mean, y'all know how I feel about it. I do respect the short track asphalt world way more than I respect, NASCAR, for instance. I definitely think there's more talent in the short track asphalt industry, and there's just guys that don't have the, 5 or 10 or $15 million to go to NASCAR or Cup or truck or whatever. So they're just down here running a super late model for hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and then there's probably crate guys, and then there's probably modified, that are really good. They just don't have the money to go to the big leagues. But this was their Snowball Derby that was on Monday, postponed. I was sitting here getting things ready for the show with Lance. And Ty Majeski, Mr. iRacing, for some people who know that, was leading the race, absolutely dominating this event. And he's that yellow car right there. He dominated this event. No one was even close to competing against him. I really didn't even have to watch the race just because he was that dominant. I think he went to the back at one point, just drove right through the field. He ended up getting the black flag, though, late in the race. Now, this ended up giving the lead to the 51N of Steven Nasse or Nasse or N-S-E. I'm not sure. But it was funny because they were like, after 15 years of trying, Steven N-S-E gets the win. And when I saw this, y'all know how I see media. It's just all about trying to create something. And when I saw that, I was like, man, they're trying really hard. They tried really hard to recreate like a Dell Senior 20 years of trying scenario here. They were like, this is it. And it was like, that's how the media played it. They played into that 15 years of trying so much that they just ignored, in my opinion, that this guy got screwed and black flagged after dominating this event. Now, what did he get black flagged for? They're saying jumping the start. Now, there's a little clip. I don't know if I could play it. I want to play it. This is him right here explaining the scenario kind of what happened and what he thinks he did wrong. There was 2 starts. He jumped the first one admittingly, but then on the second start, it did not look like he jumped. Now, he's going to explain a little bit here. Here, I do want y'all to kind of hear his explanation as he continued in the race. He didn't pull off after getting the black flag. He finished the remainder of the race, then obviously dominating and winning without the black flag, and then he parked on the front straightaway to have a conversation. Now listen to what he said about this entire scenario.
I felt like I was doing the same thing I did all day. The first one, I jumped it because I was getting chatter he was going to jump. I admit to that one, right? And the rule states you can pick up the pace to the box, and I picked up my pace to the box. and he was playing possum because he knew I was between a rock and a hard place. Right?
running second, trying to take advantage.
Correct.
So apparently this cannot be reviewed. There was nothing that could be protested, even though he wanted to, obviously, try to reverse this. That's why he finished the race. There was some way out, but it could not be reversed. But I want y'all to pay attention to him saying, in the rule book, you can pick up speed to the restart box. We got some onboards that we're going to show you that shows, and I remember watching it from the outside looking in. It's like, because, how did this happen? Because I watched it live, and they made light of how the first time he jumped. And then the second time, I watched it, and I didn't think he jumped. But they're saying he did. They cost this guy who dominated this race for this Dell Senior 20 years of trying idea, in my opinion, that they just ignore. I mean, they didn't ignore it, but you could tell they played into that to try to distract from this. That's how it came across to me, the media at least. And that's what they do. But anyways, let's listen to what he says the rules state, and then we're going to watch some of the video to show you this.
Thing I did all day, the first one, I jumped it because I was getting chatter. He was going to jump. I admit to that one, right? And the rule states you can pick up the pace to the box, and I picked up my pace to the box. And he was.
All right, so pick this pace up to the box. Sorry, we're getting so many tagged here. So this is the original start here that he is admitting fault in. I hate to push play on this because I know Flo's just going to freaking they flag everything. But here is the initial. He's the yellow car. This is the first start that he's admitting to. Now, this is the outside. This is what I saw. This is this is what everyone saw, the broadcast version. So watch the yellow car. He goes right there. The box is right there. The box is where that white line is to that white line. So you see the box here. This is what is being explained as far as the restart box. You can see it even NASCAR style with the green on the wall out there. So if he goes prior to that green or that white line on the ground, it's a jump. Now, he is saying, according to the rules, however, you can pick up your pace and then go. So let's watch this one more time. I tried to zoom it in a little bit. I need to get some dirt videographers over there if you can't center the field, but I guess he centered the field. My bad. But you can see right here, he definitely picked up the pace and went. Now, that's the first one. Now, this second one, they call this back. They call the yellow right there. They warn him that was a jump where if you do it again, you're getting black flag. This is the second one. Now, keep in mind, as he said, you can pick up the pace and then go. Watch this. I did not see what they black flagged this guy for. Now watch. He rolls up, picks up. I mean, look at this. This is real time, guys. They're calling that a jump. This is not a jump. Now, you could see how the car does pick up some speed, but it rolled. It didn't jump. Look at that. Now, what do I mean by it rolled, it didn't jump? If you go back to this initial start, which is right here, you could see the car launch. It launches. You see how it launched there? Whereas this, it was a rolling progression until getting to the line and then going. See, so it's a little bit different. And to double up on this, Flo, who's done a decent job, they released onboard of the event. And on this situation, not on the event, but obviously the event as well. But this is a triple box replay here that Flo put out. And you could see the hood of the Ty Majeski. You could see the in-car of Ty Majeski. That's to the left. The in-car of Stephen N.S.E. And then at the very bottom left, you could see like a rear view visual of the, looks like off the back of Ty Majeski's 91. This is a big deal. This is like their chili bow in this late model world. Now, this is the first start. Let's listen to the engine here. Now you could tell 100% jump on that start right there. You can listen to the motor because it's gonna matter when we get into this next one on actually going versus rolling speed up, because that's where they're saying this is the debatable subject in this whole entire sequence. Yeah, you could definitely tell the difference between getting in it and rolling, especially here in just a second. So one more time here. This is the jumped start. No question. Now here is the next one. Once again, he is stating that he rolled towards this line, rolled up with speed, picked pace up, but didn't go until getting to the line. And it to call this a jump, I don't know what to tell you. Listen to this and listen to the differences that we're explaining. I mean, it's pretty crazy. Hold on, let's see here. I think we got a little bit too far ahead over. Okay, that's the first one. All right, let's go. Yeah, because they did the whole jump, all that. Okay, that's green. Green. Hold on. We're getting there. I think this is it right here. Nope, they're still green. Where's the green? Oh. Interesting. I thought it was right there. Hold on. Got to find it. There we go. I think this is the second. Yeah.
Quarter, holding it, hold. You're clear.
Yeah, I believe that was the second. No, that was the first one.
Hold, you're clear. Okay.
Because I was about to say, oh, I'm completely wrong. Hold on.
Pull back up here.
Here we go.
Green. You want in the box here.
Okay, so this is the second jump, or the jump start here. Now, once again, heard the one where it picked up instantly, but as he said in the post race there, it is legal to gradually pick up pace, but not actually go. Yeah, and I don't see where the jump is at. Here we go.
26 left. Okay. Quarter, hold.
It's very close, though. I will say it is very close, but I still feel like I hear a gradual pickup, and then once he hits that line, that's when he goes. It is close. That's the first one right here. That's definitely early. And the bigger issue here with this incident is that, I mean, that guy, and here is one fault of this situation, is somebody should have jumped on the damn radio and told this guy that, hey, you're like, I would say per 10 laps, he's 2 seconds faster every 10 laps than everyone else in the field. Don't even think about jumping. This 51 ain't keeping up with you. No one's keeping up with you. Don't even worry about it. Get into the restart zone and go. Let him try to get over on you on the outside or something. Because I don't even think it would have mattered if the 51 would have got around him. If with it, even if it was 10 laps to go, I think it was 13 or something like that. But I don't think it would have mattered. This time, Majeski was just head and shoulders above everyone else. So I do think there was a bigger issue there in not letting this guy know how much better he was than everybody else, and he didn't even need to get close to doing anything wrong to win the race. So I think that if there's any fault in what Ty Majeski and his team did, it is in not being confident enough to know the situation there, to not even think about pushing it, because the situation was he was going to win that race. I want to say no matter what, but obviously we found out what could lose him the race, and it was this. They in a way, they did lose it themselves for even taking it this close. It should have not been this close. You know, it's worse than the Denny Hamlin tire situation at Phoenix with that call, because this guy was dominant in another degree in this race. So that is where it is on them, just a little bit. Anyways, into the chat. I'm curious to see if anybody watched this. The 51 won a couple years ago, but then was disqualified. This is true. They have won that race, but they also have lost it due to and so, for some reason, people were telling me the Snowball Derby has that effect all the time. There is some kind of drama, whether it's what we just saw or felling post-race texts and all that. The race was so boring. This was the best part. It was boring because that time Majeski was just that damn good. I mean, there was some good racing throughout the field, but just like the Dome, people said that race was boring. But yeah, the leaders never, got challenged, but there was racing in the field. But we do care about who's going to win the race. We do care about who's going to win the race. It's a Toby car. Toby built the car. Okay, well that's good. Fulminator is the best. Oh God. What's this poll at? It hasn't budged much. Donny Schatz has more than 5 wins in 2026. It hasn't budged much. 38-62. 38-62 right now. That's pretty crazy. 38-62. That's 42 votes. That's almost a 50-50. So there's some people who do believe that this combination is going to do some good things. It is going to do some good things. We will open up the chat here just a second. We may actually have a special caller. Hold on, not open up the chat. Open up the phone lines. There is the number on the screen, 972-730-0409. If you want to call into the show, talk about any topics you want to. We are about 42 minutes into the show. Well, about 40 if you calculate all the time there, just kind of looking at things. We had a person message us on our Facebook, Long Live the Chaz, and he is the guy who built the trophy, that wooden grained trophy that you saw at the Gateway Dirt Nationals, if you paid attention to it. Yes, this thing right here, show you. Once again, call the number on your screen. But he actually built this trophy. Apparently, he does some kind of brain trauma awareness as well. But this was the trophy that they built. It has Scott Bloomquist involved with it. This is him actually kind of building the trophy that they gave at the Gateway Dirt Nationals. A guy named Tyler Carlson. But it was kind of based on Scott Bloomquist, a little memoir, but also a trophy that they did give out at the Gateway Dirt Nationals. Thought it was very cool. Here, yeah, the carved trophy that they gave to Bobby Pierce. So Bobby Pierce actually has that trophy in possession for winning the Gateway Dirt Nationals. But anyway, we'll go back to the chat over here. We may have him call in just a second. Chaz, do you think True Timber Camo will return to CJB to sponsor shots? I don't know. I feel like that's a Spencer Baston sponsor. Sponsors are getting in with the drivers now, and that relationship with the driver is kind of, and obviously there's some teams that have sponsors, but most of the time the teams, their sponsors are the team owner's business most of the time in some capacity. But you see these other sponsors that jump around, and to me, it feels like those are driver to sponsor relationships that come with them to teams or go with them when they leave a certain team. So I don't know if True Timber Camo is going to go to CJB. I don't know if that's possible. I mean, their paint schemes were cool, but I almost feel like that showed up when, Spencer Baston showed up. So that kind of makes me feel like their partnership is more so with Baston. But then obviously we didn't. I don't think, was it on the car last year? I'm not sure. I can't recollect. I didn't really pay attention to the 5 car there with Crouch too much. Just, obviously he made some runs decently, but he wasn't up front every weekend. So not like most people watched or paid attention to it. I mean, he was up there sometimes, but was True Timber on the car this year? I can't personally remember. Was it on the car this year with Crouch? I remember seeing it when it was Baston in the car. Sheldon take NOS with him then? I believe he's got NOS association going forward, yes. To with which everyone is saying, and I think he even acknowledged is going to KCP. So I think that is happening, yes. Put the number up there if anybody does want to call and talk about some of the chatter in the racing world. See if that guy with the trophy wants to call. The poll's got 48 votes now. It's still at that 38-62 split. So y'all don't know how to feel about this. This is interesting. Feels like for every person that votes yes, there's one that follows up and votes no. Understood, but when Baston went to JMR and now SJMR, True Timber didn't tag along with him. Crouch brought his sponsors from CMS to CJB, correct. No Rumble next week, I will take it. Not at this point. Now, when you say next week, it's the following week after PRIs, or is it this weekend at PRI? Hog Talk Querying sponsored the CJB car one time, a field of cars for Donny. Maybe he'll sponsor. That's possible. You could maybe see a little correlation there. Maybe a Shop Usage logo on the car. Barry Jackson and crew chief for the CB car go when high limit runs against the Outlaws. I got to read. Chili Bow? What do you mean CBB? What's that? Following weekend, not this weekend. I don't have any plans to go anywhere. Fort Wayne's weird. I mean, some people were complaining about the fumes at Gateway, for instance. The fumes at the Chili Bow are a little more effective, I think, maybe because it's methanol. But the fumes, no hating the event, but the toughest fumes I've ever been in my life has been at the Fort Wayne Rumble. I mean, that was noticeable. Just being honest. That's a pretty. I would wear a COVID mask to that event if I was to go again. To be honest with you, it's a very small building. That's the one thing I remember the most about that event. Schatz will have more than 5 wins next year if Barry is turning the wrenches. Apparently, that's the combo. So you're confident in that as well. It is turning down, though, for Schatz. We're at a 37-63 percentile here with 54 votes on the line. No hate. They have new cats that most cars run there. Carburetors, converters, I guess you're saying? Still haven't got a caller. This is why we don't do the calls. I mean, seems like y'all want to do the calls. We'll respond to the chat as long as you want. Let's see here. We're getting some more votes rolling in. 56 votes is a 39-61. 3961. So we're almost at a 40-60. Y'all are believing in Donny and CJB. Wow, 3961. Almost 60 votes. Let's see here. I mean, you got to vote for it. Let's see here. Do we know what chassis engine combo Donny is piloting next year? Yes, it is going to be a Maxim. It is going to be Kistler's, which is basically the same combo that Macedo was running. I believe that's the same engine chassis combo that Carlson Macedo is running. Maxim Kistler combo. Kistler's, from my understanding, are one of the better motors from the non-exclusive, ranks. Your exclusive ranks are your Morrisons, your Charlie Garrett's. You kind of have to be on a privateered list-ish. I know the Speedway motors, now that Rico's at the helm, at least that's what people are saying, might become a little more like that, exclusive-ish. But the Kistler, your Don Otts, in that area is what I mean. Your Kistlers, Don Otts, Riders, your more so customer engines, show up, pay, wait for as long as you have to, etc. But you could go to Kistler and order a motor. You don't have to be some special guy. From my understanding, talking with, several teams, Daniel Lasowski swears up and down by him. Obviously, Phil Dietz and Macedo, they believe in him. But the Kistler is the prime of the open market motors, if that makes sense. So it's a good combo. And Maxim is Maxim. I know some people, I even had a guy call, they're going to do J&Js. I mean, hey, at some point, you have to be happy with what you're getting, for one. Maybe Donny still wants a J&J, but they weren't obviously getting it done as much as he would like to when he was running J&J. It looks like we did miss a call. Hold on. Oh, we are missing a call. Hello, are you there?
Yeah, well,
Who is this who is calling in? Who is this?
this is Tyler Carlson.
Tyler Carlson. So you're the guy who did the carving, correct?
Yes.
The Gateway Dirt Nationals carving. I was trying to find another picture of it that you sent, but yeah, this thing was really sweet looking. And it actually was presented to Bobby Pierce. So Bobby Pierce has this now.
Yeah, there's a long story on that. More or less, Scott Bloomquist made me, it sounds messed up, but like the reality of it is like Scott Bloomquist is like, I've like watched him since I've been pretty much at the racetrack at like 6 years old. So like throughout the years and see him on TV and all that, and then hear that he's like Dale Earnhardt. So like that hurt, and then find out what happened, and I was just like, I gotta get my brain figured out.
What do you mean by that? I know you've shared some messages on here about some brain trauma in some capacity, and you were kind of shocking me on what you actually believe that is, or what people may suffer from and may not even know they're suffering from it.
It could, yeah. There's like finding out and doing like Matt Hughes, the UFC fighter. He got hit by a train. Mine was equivalent to that, and they should have put me in a coma, but like the doctors are more where I'm at, or like put a band-aid out and send you on your way. But like your thought process slows way down anytime there's like a concussion and you don't even know it. Sometimes, like it took me 4 years to open my eyes.
Well, but there was some explanations there where you were saying like, it's like when you think you have problems and you call yourself a pussy or something like that. I was like, well, that's kind of like normal male culture, is it not? I mean,
oh yeah, well, there's that too. There's most guys deal with that, like the whole, the thoughts and the stupid thoughts that most guys probably think of. We're all human.
Self-doubt.
But these ones go into when there's a brain trauma involved. So them thoughts are more intense, which they call, which I've been finding out, which you have blockers that zone into doing, like wanting to do it, like it talks you into do it. Like it's so weird, and you gotta like fight out of that, and then there's all these emotions that come with it.
Right. That almost sounds like spiritual warfare too. But
It doesn't it, but it's not. There's a lot of just like your brain's a computer, right? So like say you're sad about like something happening, it's gonna, with the brain stuff, it if your brain's not right, like the wires in your on the computer in the car, you know, they're not right, they're gonna start shorting out. So all the emotions are all wacky.
right.
The thought process is like some of the stuff that you shouldn't even worry about, like you like tap into them more, and like makes you mad more and stuff like that.
Well, they say that could even be caused by generational trauma, or if you were just beat as a kid, or have daddy issues or mommy
There's that
issues.
too.
Like,
Yep, there's all that rolls into that too, and not knowing better, and like there's that too.
traumatic experiences, PTSD, military time, you know, a lot of reasons, a lot of triggers.
A
To
lot of triggers.
yeah. Emotional
this
stress. I mean, financial
specifically-
stress. If you think about some extreme financial stress, that could cause all that too. I mean,
Oh yeah, you can get all that from that too.
Yeah.
Your vision gets all like blurry, like, and then I'm trying to explain. So, how would I put it in like, so like your brain, you like feel like more like a retard, like sometimes, I guess.
okay.
If that's being like like the brain farts, like probably as you're picking up as we're talking, I'm kind of all over the place.
Well, it's all right. It looks
Um,
like you could build a hell of a carving, though. What are you trying to do with that in the future?
Ye- I'm wanting to spread awareness more or less for mental awareness for men, because it's not just with the like brain trauma. That's what like got me to, and then you hear like a bunch of stories from the military, the PTSD, the the trauma, and like what you're saying, like growing up trauma. There's all different sorts of trauma, but it's still worth living,
Yeah.
even when it's at its darkest day. But the darkest days could get really freaking haunting,
Right. Oh, for sure.
and you
100%.
can't just, and well, most time, like most guys can't just say, like, go and talk about it at all. If you think about it, they're gonna lock you up, right?
Right.
So most guys will just bury it, and then it'll come back up sooner or later, right?
As far as?
And then, well, like say like you bury like something that you want to bury, and then like if you didn't like, frick, like if you bury it, then you frick.
Well, it's fine. I get what you're saying. It's just like you can't voice
Well,
your
yeah,
opinion
I
because
know.
it's not
I just
accepted,
had a
especially
brain
in the
fart.
male. I call it the male domain, especially in the male domain. It's not right to talk about what you think or feel or what's wrong. You know, it's just deal with it. You know, that's
Right.
what we're raised to believe in, and to do anything different makes you a
Exactly.
puss. You know, and so it's cultural as well.
Well, yeah, there's a lot that goes, like, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, more or less do that. Do the carvings, custom bars, anything with what I can carve it, realistically.
Nice. Well, yeah, we'll have to look into what else you could do. Maybe we'll have to do something on the show eventually.
Yeah, I would love to tap in, show you guys the process and all that. And I don't know, it just peeling the layers of the wood, to be honest with you, like calms like my dumbness, I guess. I put all like, yeah, into that, I guess.
Okay. Well, thanks for calling. I know we're gonna have some other people calling in, and it's gonna be a little more racing
Yep.
centric, but nice to get your message there, and we'll definitely have to keep in touch, and yeah, definitely encourage people to speak up and talk more.
Yeah.
All righty.
All right. Thank you.
No problem, sir. Thank you for calling and reaching out.
Yeah. Thank you.
That was Tyler there who made the carving. We did miss a number or a phone call from number 223. This is scaring me now. Oh, we're calling it back. Oh no, what is this? What is this? The votes have moved. We're down to 35-65 with Donny.
What's up, Chaz?
Hello.
Merry Christmas.
Oh no, it's him. It's Cold Trickle. 65 votes, 35-65 right now. Man, there's people who believe in Donnie. What did you want to talk about? Sorry there, Cole.
Funny. Yeah, no, not a lot of love for Donnie there, apparently. That kind of sucks, but I don't know. I think him and Barry what you and Lance talked about, and I mean, it shows with Lance experience, dude. Experience pays off, and having somebody that's experienced with the wrenches pays off. But no, what I wanted to talk about was the streaming stuff. Mainly the Dirt Cup, the thing that Moran's putting on,
Right.
and this whole, presented by Flow, presented by Dirt Vision. You have, like you said, the battle. Basically, it's a race between two streaming companies. And you had mentioned something about Amazon being involved, or something was involved with Amazon with the Dome. What was that about?
They did the Thursday night on Amazon Prime, the Dome.
Okay. Do you think something like this Invitational Dirt Cup, all this money and two streaming companies, do you think that this might be kind of a test? Oh, my cat says hello. Do you think that this might be a test that see who gets the better ratings, and maybe Amazon might be throwing them a contract? I mean, I said to you about the sports washing thing, and we obviously know that there's foreign government money getting into American sports. It's trickling into NIL and the college now and stuff. And I think it's getting its way into racing, NASCAR, and eventually into dirt racing. And I don't know. Do you think that maybe Amazon might be looking at dirt racing as a viable streaming option for them, or to buy out maybe Flow? We know Flow is not just racing. I mean, they're, outside of racing. I think that college wrestling, Flow Wrestling is like their next biggest channel, or like the biggest channel they have.
Yeah, I think it's going to turn basically just like NASCAR, for instance. They bought all the production. So, like, even though you'll see a race at, wherever, and it's on Fox, it's a NASCAR production company that is being hired by Fox to produce the show. So I think that's where Flow or Dirt Vision is going to slide in here, is when you have Prime or you have any of them, Netflix, name them all. I think what's going to be happening there is that Prime or Netflix or whoever is going to be paying Flow to produce the show. So it basically will turn these streaming companies into a production company, which they already are. They're just self-hosting the shows.
So I assume that Dirt Vision, obviously it's owned by World Racing Group, so they own the broadcast, essentially the broadcasting rights. You always see it with NFL and NBA, all the major sports leagues. You can't broadcast this without express written permission, blah, blah, blah. So the Dirt Vision might probably have that with World of Outlaws. How does that work with High Limit and Flow then? Does High Limit have their broadcast rights? Do they have that and lease it out to Flow? Does Flow own the broadcast rights to High Limit? And like, I'm curious with the streaming infrastructure, how this works. That really, to me, I think is the thing to really focus on, because that's going to be what drives sprint car racing and dirt racing for the next 10 to 15 years, is what happens with streaming in the next 2 to 3 years.
Well, yeah, especially if High Limit or Outlaws win this battle, or if they don't, is somebody going to umbrella both of them and keep it secret? We already talked about that last year, because you have a Flow company in Real American Beer sponsoring the late models, technically. So they could be playing possum as their enemies right now, just to keep the rivalry going and the attention. So the possibilities are just too endless to actually know. But those are some good questions. Is High Limit, got a contract with Flow? I'm assuming it goes way deeper than that. I'm assuming that Flow is, I think it's already been said that they're a part of High Limit in some capacity. They're obviously supplementing what they're doing with the broadcasts and with the charter systems and when they do shows at tracks. So there's got to be, whether it's direct ownership or partial ownership or contracting, it's got to be already happening. So it's got to be there for it to even be operating how it is now.
Mm-hmm. I think with the NASCAR lawsuit and what has come about with that so far, I think that you're going to see a big push with transparency among dirt racing, and especially teams. I think you're seeing a little bit of it now with, kind of the opening of the books of charters and how much money, who gets what in High Limit, and, what the points total payout and the World of Outlaw system, what that looks like. But like I said, I just think streaming is the thing to look at and keep an eye on and follow the money with that, basically. I mean, racing's driven by the dollar, and you got to go where it's at. And let's face it, everybody wants to keep racing, and so they're going to take the money pretty much from whoever it comes from. Doesn't matter if it's Joe the mechanic down the street with a shop or Sheikh Khalid Al Saud or whatever. So I don't know, but
yeah,
I think Donny with CJB, I think that's awesome, man. I think that's cool. That's great. I'm happy to see it. I am excited. I remember a time when everybody hated Donny, and Donny was the Tom Brady of sprint car racing at the time. Everybody hates a winner, and now everybody looks at him kind of as a feel-good story, but, he won't get more than 5 wins. Don't sleep on him. Don't sleep on old men. There is such a thing as old man strength, and he's got it, so.
Yeah, I don't even think his age is old for racing. Technically, I think more so his style doesn't fit the current mold, especially if you don't qualify. You got to qualify extremely well to kind of float your game all night, and he didn't necessarily have an advantage, but there was a lot of nights where Schatz could start wherever and win, and I just think that's too difficult in today's world. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens. And yeah, as far as the NASCAR thing is, I think one of the benefits that dirt racing has with the whole NASCAR thing, not just the lawsuit, but everything they've done, is we get to see what to do and what not to do. So hopefully the people at the helm can see some of their mistakes and learn from them,
Yeah. I don't know if you watch any of the Kenny Wallace stuff, but I watched it the other day where he had another dude with him, and it literally sounded like an abuse victim. He just listened to what he talks, like how he talks about NASCAR and how, they feel about their old fans and, Richard Childress but they kind of want you back now, everything's out in the open now, or, we want you back and blah, blah, blah. And everybody motherfucks everybody. And yeah, everybody does do that, but you don't have to go back to the person that keeps beating the shit out of you. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's I don't know. They've lost a huge amount of people. That has become an irrelevant sport. What they say, they make as much or just less than MLS. Like the fifth highest grossing sporting sports in America, soccer, MLS, they're on par with that.
Well, and they used to be known for having huge in-person attendance audiences, 100,000 at, big races.
I was at sellouts of Pocono in the 2000s, and 200,000 people is not uncommon. What did the front stretch? 140,000 people would be on the front stretch. That's just
and they're not doing that anymore, though. Some of these tracks are sold out. For instance, like they could say Daytona is sold out, but you tore down a whole damn back straightaway grandstand that held another 40,000 people. So.
Well, and I'll clue in with the sellout thing. A lot of people, some people probably do know this, like especially if you do food service or beverage, things like that. But I was fortunate enough, a lot of the NASCAR races I went to, I never paid for because lucky that I knew people and had family in food service where I could get tickets. But what companies do, like beer distributors especially, they will buy up blocks of seats at like Pocono and have these blocks and distribute the tickets, and people show up. Cool. If they don't, cool. They still consider that block of seats sold out, and hey, it's still a sellout. So their numbers have always been overinflated. It's always been bullshit, and it's just finally caught up to them. It took them 15 years for that to happen, though. So.
Yeah, they lost marketing partners. I know that Home Depot would do the same. A bunch of regional distributors would do the same as far as purchasing sections, giving them to employees or somebody who worked, or Bud Light, like you're saying, all the partners would purchase. It was a scratch back thing. They just lost their itch, their reach, their audience. The spending money's not there. And they're finally losing, and then you can't go bullying, Michael Jordan. You can't go say, "Hey, sign this or you're out, boy." That ain't gonna work out,
Excuse my French. MJ's got fuck you money and a lot of lawyers to back him up, and like he even said it and stuff. He's the perfect fall guy for that. Like he can sue NASCAR. He's the only one that can do it, and he's right. Do I think it's right? Yeah. I think it's about time that somebody does it.
Well, I really think what happened there is you finally had an outside entity show up, a real outside entity with Michael Jordan. I feel like a lot of these people, like Penske's and Hendricks and Gibbs and even Childress and some of these people who sign the deal every year, they're just like, well, I love NASCAR. I don't want it to end. We're in business, and we don't have a regular job, so let's just keep on going with it to keep the sport going.
Money?
Right.
It's where else can I make this much money owning a racing team? You can't do it anywhere else.
Right.
They can't buy into F1. You're talking $1.5 billion for what's Andretti up to? $1.8 billion with their F1 team right now with Cadillac?
Right.
Yeah.
With the Saudi company, right? Or who?
Are you talking with F1 or?
Yeah, the Cadillac.
Andretti. The Cadillac team. I forget. I read who it's with, but
something THQ Holdings or something, or
TKO. That's it. TKO Holdings. TKO Holdings, which is who owns WWE and UFC and promotes a majority of the boxing of like the. I'm pretty sure it's a TKO promoted event for the Logan Paul, Jake, whichever Paul's fighting.
Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua.
Where are they having that fight at?
I would assume where all the fights have been happening right now.
So Riyadh.
Right. So what's up with that? A commenter the other day said something about sports washing. What is sports washing? I know we looked it up, but
so,
is that you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that was me that mentioned it. Yeah, so sports washing. So I had said about like Manchester City, and I use that as the best example because, quite frankly, soccer is the biggest sport in the world, and they're one of the biggest clubs in the world now, mainly because they have this money. But there's other clubs. Paris Saint-Germain's one. Who else? Newcastle United in England's another one that has Saudi money. They have Saudi money. It's another prince that owns them. There's like 2 or 3 princes that own teams in England. But anyways, so because Saudi Arabia is an oil-rich country, that's where they make their money. OPEC, they run OPEC. So because they have such a terrible human rights record,
because it's Sharia law, right?
in order, partially, they've opened liberties to women in recent years. Within the last 10 years, I think it's been, or last 5 maybe. They've allowed women to be able to drive by themselves, which is like huge. Cool. But there's a lot of places apparently in Saudi Arabia you can't go as like an American. Okay, like Mecca, you can't go to Mecca. Like it's a UNESCO heritage site, can't go there. But anyways, I'm off topic. Anyways, the Saudis get their money from their oil. Okay, so in order for them to have a better public image in the world, they have a state-ran benevolent fund where all the princes get, buku dollars, and they could turn around and use that money. Well, some of them have invested that money and bought sports teams in foreign countries in Europe. There's a lot of backlash in some areas behind this. Obviously, winning negates a lot of the negative that these people do. So as soon as these teams win, it seems like the outrage that the owners get when they buy these teams goes away. Again, they do it to give themselves a better public image, but in reality, they still, in their home country, their own government, their kingdom, their king, the person that runs the government there, is still committing these atrocities to these people. So this kind of money has made its way into American sports. It's here. Another good example of sports washing is the Chinese. Specifically, John Cena is a really good example of that. John Cena does a lot of movies in China. He speaks fluent Mandarin Chinese. He does a lot of stuff over in China. You might have ever seen the video of him singing to an ice cream cone in Chinese. He's taken a lot of money from them. Is it right? Ethically, morally, no. But it's his decision.
Well, we see it in
We
see that in American politics all the time, though. Taking money for,
That's always been a thing. Foreign money's been a thing, and until there's anti-lobbying laws that pass, that's never going to change. The only thing is to find places where you can monitor who takes what and choose who you morally feel is the better choice. That's what it all comes down to anymore. But politics is politics. But the sports washing thing, yeah. Like I said, that stuff is coming into dirt racing. So obviously Real American Beer is owned by TKO Holdings, which is they're ran by the Saudi government. They are majority shareholder. They own a lot of shares in TKO. Again,
which is technically Flow, a part of Flow too, right?
Real American Beer sponsors who? World of Outlaws, Late Model?
No. TKO Holdings or whatever. They're a part of Flow, I believe, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah. TKO has a hand in Flow Holdings as well. So, they're involved in Flow Sports. But you want to know the funny thing where the link is with that? So, before Hulk Hogan died this year, he was promoting this thing called Real American Freestyle. What that is a professional amateur freestyle wrestling series in the United States, like Major League Wrestling, legitimate wrestling. They just had a meet in State College like 3 weeks ago. Okay, so that's where the connection is because Flow broadcasts Real American Freestyle on Flow Wrestling on their Flow Wrestling page. Like, again, all these things connect. We talked, we mentioned it before. It was late in the show a couple weeks ago where I mentioned with the sports washing thing initially and stuff. But you're right, it all connects. Everybody's in this all together. Everybody has a vested interest in where this all goes because everybody has. Nobody's in business to lose money. You're in business to make it. Like nobody opens a business and invests in a business and invests in things that might profit their business to lose the money. So in some instances it does pay to work together, but it's also kind of collusion, and the product that we get, you can't trust it. Is it made up? Is it bullshit? Is it kayfabe? Is it like, WWE professional wrestling? I view the NFL and the NBA and all your major stick and ball sports, sort of with the exception of the MLB. I still think that's a little bit more honest, with the exception of PED use. But I view all the rest of that as, major stick and ball sports like professional wrestling. Okay? When you're a professional at something, what do? What do you earn? You earn money, right? Like, if you're a professional football player and you run a play, you know what I mean? Like, it's kayfabe stuff.
Yeah, look at how big
just
the
kind of-
online gambling has taken those sports over. It's huge.
Well, and that's the other thing, too. If you can gamble on it, and that means somebody has a vested interest to make a lot of money on it, which means betting companies, bookies, and, your Barstool Sportsbook and BetMGM and all that. And I'm very against gambling, because once you can gamble on a sport, it takes the legitimacy out of that sport, because now people, even the players, have a vested interest to throw the game because they can make bets on the side, or, straw man bets and things like that, and influence the game. You're seeing it with the NBA. What happened with the NBA betting scandal? It was like a thing for a week and gone. What the fuck happened to that?
I don't know,
Where's
but
that at?
I believe that both the NBA and MLB have as many games as they do for betting purposes only. I mean, why? That's the only money that's moving every day of the week.
Major League Baseball is more historic.
Well,
See,
that doesn't mean that
158
that doesn't mean that there's 180 something games, probably 20 of them matter. But if you think about how much money is being gambled on all them games, now it does matter. Every single day,
but
there's bets
baseball-
being placed.
You're talking about a sport, though, that's, 180 years old, that has had rules for gambling in place since the inception of the rules in 1864. There are original rules embedded in the game of baseball against gambling. It's why you see the 1919 Black Sox scandal, and the reason why, Shoeless Joe Jackson won't be in the Hall of Fame is because of, the team betting and during the World Series. There are embedded rules there. So that's why I say baseball's a little bit more honest. They have the PED issue, but all the rest of the stick and ball sports, again, okay.
Why aren't you saying the same about hockey?
Why do I say the same about hockey? Well, hockey is it has to do with point spread, okay? It's easier to manipulate the point spread in a game like football and basketball,
right? Because the high scoring.
Hockey. And the Raiders game where Pete Carroll went off and kicked a fucking field goal at the end of the game. What was that about? That screwed up the entire point spread for everybody. What was that about? Like, something doesn't jive there. Like,
well, it depends on which side of the bet you were.
Well,
it depends on which side of the bet was being placed. Yeah, it screwed half the people who bet this way, but it benefited the other people who bet the other. John Wick.
Here's my thing: if you're gonna make any professional sports, and when I say professional sports, I'm going to lump big time sprint car racing, high limit, World of Outlaws, big time dirt late model racing. Lucas Oil, World of Outlaws, any major racing series, professional stick and ball sports where you're making money doing it, you should have your bank account be audited by an independent auditing firm to make sure that you are not gambling and manipulating stuff. If you're going to participate in leagues and different things like that, then you should open your finances up to an independent auditing firm to make sure that you're not gambling money and manipulating it. Again, I turn on stick and ball sports, and I don't believe half of it because I don't know if Joe quarterback's got a, if he bet the under and, oh shit, I'm going to throw this interceptor, however it works. Again, I don't bet. I don't know how it works. But again, sports are losing attendance. I say sports as a blanket are losing attendance live. They're losing attendance at home by viewers. And it's not just because there's more options for entertainment, but because people are questioning the validity of these things that they're seeing. I'm not the only person, and I've been questioning this for a while, and now I'm seeing people catching up to it. When Dave Portnoy's saying somebody needs to be investigated about this, he owns a freaking sports book. Like, I'm sorry, that NFL game seems sus to me. You know.
Okay.
You know, that caution on the track for, you know, next year's super big dirt car race where somebody's got, you know, side bets with Dirt Draft in a black market betting pool, because we'll just use our Dirt Draft picks as our betting picks. Tell me that's not happening.
Right.
It is. Okay. The Chinese love stuff like that. Go to fun88.com, who sponsors soccer teams in England, and you can find all sorts of shit that you can bet on like that. Again, like, people don't get this stuff, that there's people that stand to make money off of this.
Right.
Like, it's...
Well, we almost got 80 votes. It's still 34-66. They don't think Donny Schatz will have over 5. Wow.
Well, they just want to see everybody just pile it, you know, like you said, do a Buddy Kofoid, just dive the right front and turn one there and just go like hell up on the cushion. Hope to God, you know, just put your life on the line. That's, I don't know. I got to see when, you see driving styles ebb and flow. I'm lucky enough. I've gotten over, you know, been watching dirt racing, been involved around it long enough to see driving styles that have ebbed and flowed. And, you know, one of them that ebbed and flowed was Donny Kreitz, bottom feeder, slow and steady. Took him a while. Then he started winning races before he got hurt and retired. I see Donny's driving style, Kreitz's, you know, that kind of nice and easy on the equipment, but knows what they need out of a car. I see that with Donny. That's why Donny's always been as good as he has at the Grove at Knoxville. I see that kind of driving style is going to kind of work its way back. The other thing, too, is climate. Changes dirt, changes the weather, changes tracks. You know, the overall climate has changed. Gone to, what is it, a La Nina. So different weather patterns you're going to have. So different things will, I think that Donny's going to be good. I think that his driving style, I think this is a good combination. I don't think they're going to jump out of the gate right away, but give it time. Give them a month, 2 months. I think they'll be running consistent.
Okay.
I see this as a good combination. You can't beat experience.
Right.
You can't beat experience. And in racing, you can't beat experience. You know, again, Dale Blaney, granted, you know, brought the Sharon car out at Sharon and won at Sharon, the oldest sprint car, you know, World of Outlaws driver. But again, that's experience. You don't do that stuff without experience. And Donny's done special things. He's got the experience. So they say how long he signed for. Is it just this year? Is it?
I haven't seen that. No. So I would assume just a next year, I would assume. How most dirt contracts work.
Well, I didn't know maybe if he had something, you know, maybe 2 years, 3 years, you know.
You'd think they'd be trying that.
Kind of thing.
You think they'd be trying to do that with the series?
You would think that CJB will want to do that with, if they're going to have, if Brenham Crouch is going to run a second car and run high limit, wouldn't you kind of want Donny to be there and have that?
Yeah, but Donny's never going to go to high limit. We all know this.
What I'm saying is not to share information, but to maybe mentor a driver along.
Yeah, but I mean, it would only be able to work if he went high limit, and he's not going to do that because they have a franchise. So
Yeah. Well, I don't know. What do you think about all the money getting into this racing stuff? What's your
it's still
honest
it's still
opinion?
it's still
What's your
peanuts.
honest
It's
opinion?
still peanuts for what everyone needs. And they're still not focused enough on expansion to really actually get into the money that is needed. They're more so worried about beating little battles between each other instead of bigger goals.
Hmm. Well, are you willing to give up some moral things, some things you kind of believe in? Are you willing to be a bit uncomfortable to have the money come in?
What do you mean?
Like you specifically. So if needing to expand and bring the money in the sprint car racing, what does that entail? That entails getting a wider audience. What does that entail? Expanding your streaming and broadcasting. What does that entail? That entails.
Well, I think streaming's just they're going about it all wrong. Like they need to be, either trying to get on a bigger platform or they need Flow or Dirt Vision representatives trying to sign deals with restaurants, like Buffalo Wild Wings, like do national contracts for like Buffalo Wild Wings to dedicate a few TVs at every location to Flow or Dirt Vision, for instance. They're not thinking of expansion. They're more so just sucking off the Social Security checks of the 55 and older bracket.
Yeah. The big names, the NASCAR connections. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah,
I mean, the B-Dubs idea is really nice. I mean, the only thing that honestly, the off chance that Mike Hefner's listening and he still has a vested interest in Lehigh Valley Restaurant Group, might not be a bad idea to look into that. Put your Red Robin restaurants on a Friday or Saturday night when people are in there.
right. Yeah. These are expansion ideas that they're just not even. They're not worried about. It seems like, and just like everybody, once they get comfortable in their little throne, when they can be a little Caesar of their world, they don't really care past that.
Well, yeah, it's just it's a king mentality of I got to where I'm at, I'm going to hoard it now.
Right.
F all of you. Give everybody the finger from the top of the castle. Yeah, that's not how this should work. I mean, the whole idea, grow the sport. You can't grow the sport if you don't give up some of the cash to help invest to do it.
Right.
I don't know.
Okay.
Interesting. Well, more people should vote for Donny. That's all. That's all I'll say. See, somebody said in there about NASCAR is going to end up getting bought by the Saudis. Well, if this Warner Brothers Netflix deal goes through and it ends up being them that buy Warner Brothers, well, yeah.
That's what's going to happen,
that'll
huh?
probably happen.
Okay.
Probably. Do you really think the current political sphere and who's in office is really going to want Larry Ellison to run more of the media? I don't think that's a thing. I don't think he wants that to be a thing. So
we never know what they actually want with how many layers of chess they play in the political world. I mean, a lot of people play enemies when they're friends in the political world. So
yeah, they do. It's just like racing. I mean, everybody wonders, hey, why did Spire spend all that money for the charter? Jump the price of a charter, the value of a charter up so much. And real quick, speaking of that, so the Dale Jr. download after the trial recap day thing, they had made mention in there that in one of the court days that NASCAR does have it in their thing that they can own a charter. So I bet the connection's there.
yeah.
It's probably that. Which would make sense as to why you have NOS energy drink involved and hooked up with Spire and
It all goes back to the ginseng industry.
That's right. That's right. Hey, that's big stuff in West Virginia, man. They'll chop your hands off if you catch somebody's ginseng patch that you're not supposed to be in.
Oh, I know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But all right.
Rednecks are wild. All right, dude.
We could sit here and talk
Merry
forever.
Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to chat. Oh, and your last caller, that's pretty cool wood carving and stuff.
Yeah.
More than I could do, so. Keep up good work, man. That's good stuff.
We'll have to look into it more.
Yeah. Please do, man. Please do. All right. Later, dude.
All righty. That was M. Mehalick in the chat calling in. The votes have went up just a little bit. We are at 86 votes now. 34% of you believe that Donny Schatz will have 5 or more wins in 2026. 66% say no, unfortunately. Let's see what some of y'all say. Watched the interview with Connor Wade today. It was a good one. Connor Wade's a really good interviewer. We had some interesting things to say to him at the Dome. Donny has no contract. I'm assuming he's a handshake guy. Money isn't sustainable on so many different angles. Can't deny that. Can't deny that one. But anyways, nobody's calling in. We'll give it a 5. We'll give it a 4. We'll give it a 3. We'll give it a 2. We'll give it a 1. Oh my, 87 votes now, still 33-67. Let's see some chats. Does anyone actually go into a store and buy NOS? From my understanding, NOS is a company that is designed basically to combat against non-Coke products. That's what I've been told, like full throttle and everything. We have a caller calling in. A call has came in, 612. Where are you from? What's your name? What's up?
It's Marv. How are you?
Oh, no. Oh, no. Marv has arrived. You're up the cruise ship, huh?
Yeah, yep. Got back Sunday, so
Okay.
back in the States. So.
Did you avoid all the extracurriculars, the singles, jamborees and all that, or did y'all get tangled up? Did what is it? The hot, what is her name again? The fiery cabana. What is it? Cuban.
The Mad Puerto Rican.
The Mad Puerto Rican. There you go. Did y'all avoid all issues, or what happened there?
Yeah, we avoided all issues. It was
Okay.
pretty mellow.
Okay. Well, what do you want to talk about tonight? Are you into the NASCAR lawsuit stuff? What are you thinking? What's going on?
Well, I've watched some of it. I don't care which way it goes either way. I think NASCAR has had their issues for a long, long time. And
well, you attend a lot of NASCAR events. Out of most of our viewers, I would say you're probably the #1 attended NASCAR viewer in all of dirt racing that I can think of. You go to a lot of them.
Well, yeah, but I don't like the way NASCAR has been run for a long, long time. It's been, a lot of issues. The previous caller alluded to some of it, the trumped up attendance. You go to a place like Richmond or Darlington, that they say they're sold out, but half the grandstands are under tarps with logos on them.
Yeah.
And those places used to sell out. I mean, I was on a waiting list for Richmond for 3 years. Now, they're begging you to renew tickets and giving you spiffs if you renew tickets. I went to the Vegas race. They're emailing me once a week saying, buy your ticket again.
Wow.
10 years ago, that stuff didn't happen. But even as a Larsonite, I have to say, I watched the interview with the what is it? The Dirt Project?
Drivers Project.
Drivers Project. And it was kind of funny. Kyle even admitted on the show that sometimes his fans are a little over the top and he's embarrassed.
Yeah. I mean, he's embarrassed of you.
Well, I'm not a Larsonite. I criticize him when he does bad and stuff like that. He also had an interesting take he basically totally agreed with you, Chaz, that Brian Carter created High Limit. Because
Yeah.
Kyle said on that interview, he said, if he would have left us alone, let us do our little 10 to 12 midweek series races, we would have been completely fine. But when he came down like a ton of bricks on us, you know, we started looking for alternatives. Tony Stewart was looking to get out. Larson already had the relationship with Flo from his dirt cars. You know, he said when Flo jumped in and Tony wanted to get out, it was kind of a natural, and Brian Carter wasn't going to let them play, that it was kind of a natural progression.
Right. Yeah, I've been saying that for years. Yeah. I mean, so he obviously is stealing from me now. That's fine. I know. It's the game he plays.
Well, and I think your point that you made about 2 weeks ago now, because I was gone last week, but your point about the Brian Carter interview, then all of a sudden Brad Sweet is turning up on all these interviews. And then they were talking on the Drivers Project that they've been trying to get Kyle for a year or so. And then the week after Carter does his interview, you know, Kyle goes on that show. So basically, High Limit really countered, you know, that short little interview that Brian Carter did.
Yeah, they definitely pay attention to what the Outlaws do and respond to it. That's where the Outlaws still kind of lead them, you know. I think they still can influence High Limit to act a certain way.
Exactly. And then there was the interesting thing, they did touch base on the gravel Larson thing, and Kyle said it was more about Cody than it was about David.
So it was about me, basically, because whereas Cody said, what videos is Cody talking on? He ain't talking shit on any other videos but mine, so it was my fault. So once again, I did it. I'm the reason that David almost is getting killed on the racetrack by Kyle. Great.
Well, it was funny, you know, and Kyle was the guest, so they weren't going to insult him, but they played the videos from Eldora, and all the drivers on the show said that Kyle did nothing wrong, that they were clean sliders. That was the consensus.
Well, they were
but
technically
on the other hand,
clean, but they were very close, that's for sure.
Yeah, that one on the last lap on, I can't remember what night it was on Eldora. That was pretty close, where Kyle was in the outside and he swooped to the inside coming out of 4. That was pretty close quarters on that one.
Yeah, you could say that gravel pulled the closer sliders there, or moves. But I mean, I guess gravel felt like he was, pushed to do that back or provoked to slide him back that close. Which, I mean, you could say yes or no. But it's beautiful cinema. I mean, it was the best thing in the world for sprint car racing, I think, to have the two main hitters go at it like that. I don't think you could have seen it play out any other way, and especially on the stage of Eldora. I mean, it was just beautiful cinema.
Yep. Yeah, I posted there that Donny has no contract. I can't remember who said that. It might have been Jeremy, that Donny said in an interview that they did sign a contract, but they're agreed to be together for 1 year. Is the kind of the consensus that next year will be Donny and CJB.
Yeah, I'm assuming it'll be like, let's see what happens. Let's see how this goes.
I'm thinking 3 wins.
3. So you voted no on our voter deal, which is up to 92 votes, and it's still 34-66. Get your votes in. We're probably on the back half ending of the show here. Get your votes in. 92 are in, 34-66. I mean, still, that's pretty for people to think he's gonna get 5 or more. That's not, nothing. That's pretty good to get 5 races out of the box, even though it is Donny,
Well, even 3. I mean, look at Schuhart the last 2 years. How many wins has he had?
Yeah, I mean, Schuhart ain't necessarily fell off the block. He had 2 last year. Sheldon had
And he had 1
4.
the year before.
Sheldon had 4. I mean, people consider last year's Baylog success, season. He only had 3. So you're
Yeah.
thinking to say 5 or more, that's I think that's a bubble number. Maybe 3 is, but people still expect Donny Schatz to be Donny Schatz. So I think for Donny being Donny, and then the powerhouse team in a way that he's getting with, I think 5 is a fair over under. Because you had Gravel do 17, Kofoid did 12, Macedo did 11, and then the next guy close is Sheldon at 4. Of course, Macri had 4, but he's not a full time guy. Rico had 4. He's a high limit guy, and Kyle had 4 as well. So, but they're not full time. Obviously, they don't have 68, 66 starts like these guys do. So, full timers,
Yeah.
the next one past Macedo is 4. Now, are you thinking I don't think that Gravel will have as dominant of a year next year as he did this year. I just
Well,
don't
you
think
were-
I don't
you
think
were-
he will.
You were with me when it happened at Volusia. Basically, Gravel won the championship at Volusia.
Pretty much.
He
Kofoid wrecked.
he was podium. Yeah, he was podium all 4 nights. Macedo sucked. Schatz was taking provisionals. I mean, those guys. Schuhart won the first night, and then he was good the last night. But the middle 2 nights, he was not good. Gravel basic, and then I think he won one of the Bike Week features too, if not both. So by the time Volusia was done, Gravel was 100 points, which is 2 races ahead of everybody else.
Yeah.
You look at the standings after Volusia. I mean, the Dirt Car Nationals, that 4-race series at the beginning. There was Gravel, I think, was the only outlaw in the top 5 in World of Outlaw points. I mean, actually Larson was leading, but there were a lot of guys up there. That Brad Sweet was up there. I mean, a lot of outlaw drivers did not point well there.
No. I'm trying to see how those first few races did go. I know they didn't go good for Kofoid because he wrecked and they went to a backup car out of the gate. You had Macedo open up the first night, and then Bell, Larson, and then Gravel won both of the Bike Week events. But you still had the issues there on those first few nights of Kofoid. He ran 11th. He had the first night, I believe he was up front, but then he jumped the cushion. He flipped. Kofoid finished 24th. I mean, we ain't going to go down all the results, but it is kind of crazy to think about Volusia. A lot of people just see it as almost exhibition racing to, kick off the year. But if you go into the Volusia and one guy has a really good run, and the other contenders that we think of, Kofoid, Macedo, and some other guy, if he doesn't run well or run great, if those 3, if there's some separation, it is pretty much almost you have a hell of a kickoff, if you can go in there and do good at Volusia and the other few don't, because it's so many races back to back, and now it's 4 races,
Yep.
I believe, to start the year,
Yep.
4 points
It
races.
is. And then if you remember, Schatz was changing engines every night.
Yeah.
They came out a week or 2 ago and said that was by design, and he didn't know about it. But do you buy that?
No. According to Connor Wade, that's how it went. That it was planned. According to Schatz, it wasn't. So I don't know. Who do you believe there? Do you believe the actual driver or the actual team? It sounded like the team planned on it, but Schatz didn't. I don't know. But I guess like even Connor Wade explaining that was kind of saying, this is when I knew that everyone was kind of disconnected from one another.
Exactly.
Oh.
And I think when it got to mid-season and Schatz had 0 wins and he wasn't even that competitive, I think the guy that has the most upside is Baylog. If he can, he was fast and he led a lot of races, but he just couldn't close. I mean, if he
Right.
could close, he could have won a half dozen more races.
Yeah.
He gave up a lot of leads.
Yeah.
Where he led the first 10, 15 laps. Look at Husitz. He could have just as easily done at Husitz what Buddy did at Husitz.
Oh, yeah. For sure. He was there. He was second like every night.
Exactly. And, that track suits him because he came from the IRA, all those Wisconsin short tracks.
Yeah. That's true.
I think for Kofoid to win the World of Outlaws Championship, he has to get better at the half miles. That's kind of been their shortfall.
Well, we're closing in on 100 votes. It's still 33-67. You don't think it's going to budge? You think that's it? There's only
there's like
only
I
a
said,
third.
3. I would put the over under at 4.
And you think that would be closer?
I think 5 is a little high.
We're ending the poll. We're gonna put it to a test. Let's do it. I wonder if we could do a new poll real quick. That'd be funny. I don't think we can. Oh, where'd it go?
I think he'll probably pick up 1 by May. Is CJB been good half-mile cars? It's been so tough because the last couple of drivers haven't been that great. Crouch and then before then Baston. Baston, one rain shortened, and then his previous win, I think, was a prelim at the High Bank Nationals at Husitz, so he didn't do much in that car.
Right. Okay, we got the new one up. 4 more. We'll see what that does. We'll see if it changes here.
Someone put -2 as the number.
Yes, Zach Hampton jumps the starts, wondering why Connor Wade won't interview him about next year. I think we all know, right? They're saying 100% no. 100% no right now for Donny to have 4 more. It didn't make a difference.
When you looked like the first half of the year that Zach Hampton was going to prove you wrong, but he kind of became the Zach Hampton of old.
He did, man.
Season.
I don't know why. And then I hear he's like not a nice person.
Well, the other thing that was kind of telling too, with gravel being so strong and everything like that, and a lot of these back markers, I found it interesting that every feature at Charlotte was 30 cars because 6 outlaws or more had to take provisionals. That was kind of embarrassing, actually.
Right, yeah.
For them.
Well, I guess it's end of the year, no holds barred, let it roll.
Yeah, I would have liked to see gravel not crash on that final night, because that would have been cool to see him and Rico, settle the tie.
Yeah, we're still at a 2080, so it seems like people either believe Schatz is going to win or they don't. I don't even think the number matters. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, I heard on another forum that they say because Jackson has such a strong personality that they're either going to get along swimmingly or they're not going to get along at all.
Right. Yeah, it could go either way.
Say.
It could go either way. That's the truth.
He had such a good relationship for a long time with Warner, and then I remember you did that show over the summer, how, once they split, that it went totally the opposite. And look what happened with Rico. He's winning championships. now.
Right. Although I still think high limit's an easier championship.
Yeah, I'll disagree with you on that, but I am a high limit guy.
I just think that Macedo and Kofoid are tougher competition than anything on high limit. I mean, Reitzel's close. I think Reitzel's close. I think Reitzel would have been the champion this year if he didn't get hurt twice.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, he was fast, wasn't he? In the dash in that Vegas race, isn't that where he caught the rock? Was in the dash,
right to start the beginning. Yeah, dash made the dash. Yep.
Good. Yeah, because he would have been in the top 6 or 8, whatever they were inverting there, and when they put the substitute driver in, they had to go to the back of the pack to get owner points. So, that's
So I wouldn't even put
points.
Rico really as good as Reitzel. Be honest. So I mean, and not saying for one night he can't be, but consistent wise, championship wise, I don't think he was.
Yeah, there's a comment: who will crash more cars, Crouch or Donny?
I would think Donny.
So were you shocked when Big Game pulled the plug on that one crash?
That was a little different. That was a little different. Somebody said the Rico hate is unreal. Rico proved he was better than Gravel. I don't know where you're seeing this, Nick Corbett. Rico is faster but not as consistent. Exactly. This Nick Corbett says he's better than Gravel, no doubt. Let me ask you that instead of talking about the other situation. Do you think Rico has proven that he's better than Gravel? I don't even know if he's better than Reitzel.
I would say no. And here's why. I like Rico. I'm a high limit fan, but I did not like the way he performed at Huset's, because he had fast time on the qualifying nights, but when he was inverted, he couldn't get himself even. I think there was a couple of times he didn't even make features. He had to come through the B main, and Gravel would never do that.
Well, and he had to use provisionals on the West Coast. Was struggling for 10.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. I don't think he is as consistent.
Right. Yeah. One night,
I think
event wise, he might be close. I don't know. Gravel just always is there. I can't say that about Rico always being there.
And I think if he didn't get hurt, that Courtney would have been in the mix too. Where he struggles is he doesn't get enough wins, and the extra points that you get for wins.
But don't you think it's a little easier to be consistent in high limit versus consistent in the World of Outlaws? Seriously. I mean, the competition drops off pretty hard after about 4th. I mean,
well, this year will be telling, because you got to remember Sweet was still racing most nights, and he was a contender.
Well, let's just here's what I'm saying. So I got the points up right now. Rico, Brad Sweet, and then 3rd is Brent Marks. 4th is Justin Peck. 5th is Tanner Thorson. Okay, that's the top 5. Whereas in the Outlaws, it's Gravel, Kofoid, Macedo, Schuhart, Sheldon. I'm just saying. That's what I mean, as far as like it's harder to run consistent against the Outlaws versus high limit. I mean, no disrespect to Brent Marks and Justin Peck. I think they're good drivers. But you got Macedo over here and $1 million man of Schuhart and Sheldon. I mean, these aren't. I think Brett Marks can be really good, but consistency. This is what I'm saying. It's more so consistency. I don't think that there's really a discussion here as far as consistency to be in the top 5 when you're running against these. When you're looking at both of them, even if you dip into 10th, I mean, you're looking at Reitzel. He's obviously back because of the injuries in 6th, but Reitzel, Pursley, a development guy. Crouch, definitely development guy. Cy Lynch, Chase Randall, that's your top 10, you know. But you go over here and it's Donny Schatz, Bill Baylog, who looked extremely quick. Then you got your rookie Williamson, you know, Chris Wyndham's in there, Macedo. So you know, maybe 5 to 10, it's a push. Or 6 to 10. Reitzel, Pursley, Crouch, Lynch, Randall versus Schatz, Baylog. See, but that's so top heavy there. Schatz, Baylog. I think you can put Schatz, Baylog. When I hear Schatz, Baylog, I think Brett Marks right now, you know, which is their 3rd, or Justin Peck or Tanner Thorson. I would put Schatz, Baylog, maybe even Williamson, you know, with Thorson there. I put maybe that's like a push. Schatz, Baylog, Williamson in 6, 7, 8. To me, I almost hear Brett Marks, Justin Peck, Tanner Thorson in 3, 4, 5 for high limit. You know, so
Yeah, I thought Williamson was going to win one, but he didn't end up doing it.
he
The
was
guy I
quick
was
though.
disappointed in was, the guy I was disappointed in was Peck. You know, he burned up the 360s down there at Volusia. You know, he was head and shoulders above everybody, and then when he got in 410s, he was just ordinary.
Well, but that just shows the gap between
Yeah.
360 racing and 410 racing. It's just that big of a gap, you know. I mean,
Yep.
there's just nobody. You got a few teams that'll put 410 money in a 360 team, and I feel like those are the ones that dominate the 360 level. You know, it's a money game over there. And when you give a guy like Peck a little money,
Well, yeah,
I think
look
he's
at
going to
the-
take those guys down, you know, just like he takes those guys down in 410s most of the time.
Yeah, well, and look at the 360 Nationals when Larson and Rico went in there with the little money. They kicked butt.
Yeah, well, obviously 360 Nationals has more of a 410 presence, so it's a little tougher than a ASCS race or which is what that was down there, an ASCS race. But I just I don't know. Somebody said Brett won races this year. Schatz didn't. Oh my God. Don't forget about Courtney coming from a back injury. Not a stats guy, but what was the head-to-head Gravel versus Rico in stats? Well, I just, due to what I'm explaining to y'all, that's kind of what I mean as far as like even to run up front in high limit, I think is easier. And then I also think to pick up 13 wins with high limit is easier as well. I mean,
Yeah.
it just is. I mean, I know Gravel did 17 wins on the Outlaw Tour. But I just think that top 7 to 8 is just is more stout than the top 5 of high limit. I mean, I know Reitzel and Courtney, their name wasn't mentioned, and Gio, he's obviously joining, so that'll thicken their crowd up. You know, you throw healthy Reitzel, healthy Courtney, a Gio Selzy in there, and that'll, you know, that you know, and then you do Rico. That'll maybe toughen up their top 5 presence, but I don't know. And who knows? I mean,
whether or not Larson or Day are there.
Well, is Sheldon and Schatz and these guys better, or are we just used to thinking since they're outlaw guys and they got lineage that they're better than Brett Marks or Peck? You know, I don't know.
I thought Sheldon had a disappointing season as far as speed. He had the 4 wins, but if you look at the year before, he was much faster. He crashed like 10 times, but he was faster. He was in the mix a lot more.
Right.
We're in 25, he was not in the mix a lot.
I do think the format definitely helps Gravel of outlaw format, but
oh yeah,
I don't know. I mean,
because he's drawing, and I think he would do worse at high limit because he's drawing the first pill. His chance of getting the 1 or 2 or 3 and knocking the rest of them back is a lot higher than I like the wheel better because it keeps everybody even. You know, if your first 2 guys can't come up and draw the 1 and 2.
Right. Well, the poll didn't change
It's
much
kinda
till
given-
3367. I think that I don't think that the high limit format would not benefit gravel just as much. It's just instead of a pill, it's a wheel. You know, because if you're the top qualifier, you just have to make the A main. You know, if you're telling me, you know, they invert 4 and gravel has to finish 5th, I mean, I don't think that's that hard to do versus starting up front and finishing there. I mean, maybe, but it's not like the top qualifiers get really penalized in high limit. It's kind of an easier road to the dash, I think, for a top qualifier.
Well, not only that, you got to remember, and now I'm kind of eating my own words because I'm kind of casting doubt on the high limit, but on a 2-day or more show, they also, you're grandfathered into the,
Right.
you
Top
don't have
4
to
lock in.
qualify.
Yeah.
Yep.
At some of them, not all of them.
Well, I think it's the multi-day shows on the weekends.
But I think that's only some of those multi-day shows. I don't think that's all of them.
Yeah, I can't remember.
And
I know it's not the big shows. It's not like Dirt Cup. So I heard something interesting yesterday. Do you think Dirt Cup is gonna sue the folks in Wisconsin who are running that special show?
What do you mean?
The name? Wasn't that what they're calling the dual late model show?
Oh, you mean Skagit?
Yeah, is Skagit going to sue because they're using the Dirt Cut name?
I haven't thought about that. I don't think they would. I mean, obviously it's sprint cars, the late models. I don't think they would, but you never know. I mean, who knows for a fact or not? I mean, is that a part of the plan the whole time? I mean,
well, the other thing is what people were talking about too is that neither series is sanctioning that. It's totally unsanctioned.
I thought that it was a co-sanction.
Lucas isn't. No, it's neither sanctioned. They're just saying they're going to invite the top 10 guys from Lucas and the top 10 guys from World of Outlaws late models.
It must be an agreed upon weekend or something then? I mean, for it to work.
It's an off weekend.
Oh, it would have to be an off weekend for both.
Yep.
Okay.
So,
all right. Somebody in the chat says 2.5 on shots. How about this? We'll do a shot. We'll try to give Donny a win. Will Donny Schatz win in 2026? Oh God, this one should be 100% yes, right? This one should be 100% yes.
Like I said,
somebody already voted no. They took it away though. They're voting no. It's 50-50. The horses are off. This is going to be oh my. Oh my. It's 50-50. Oh.
Well, you got to
keep going. Sorry.
Well, you got to remember that car has not won in a while too.
Yeah. It's used to Crouch as well. It's Maxims. It's not J&J, you know. Has Donny Schatz ever won a race in a Maxim?
I can't remember.
I don't know if he's ever drove them. Well, I think maybe his old family cars were Maxims originally.
What did Stewart run because he occasionally ran a 410? Did he run the same as the other people on the team?
I'm not sure. I think he ran Maxims, but I don't know if Donny did. Donny's always been a J&J guy. 27% say no. There's still people voting no. They don't think Schatz is going to be able to win a race.
Well, if you look at the number of races that are left. If you have those top 3 or 4, if you have Gravel, let's say he does mid-teens, Kofi does mid-teens, Macedo, if he stays there, does mid-teens, that's 45 out of your 80 races.
Somebody just said, I think this is it, Marv. Donny gets a win, but is light at the scales. Calling it now. Oh, my God. Could you imagine that night if Donny wins again and then is light at the scales? I feel like that'll be one of those nights you see him just push him on by and give him the thumbs up, you know?
Well, I don't think this past year there was nobody light at the scales.
I don't think there
in either
was.
series, right?
I don't think there was, which is weird, you know?
And I think the only 2 DQs were in high limit. Were Sweet for not going to the scales and Gravel for having that front wing thing.
Somebody said
those were the only 2.
Somebody said if Donny wins the points, is that the greatest comeback in all time of dirt race? I think so, but I don't think that'll happen. I know there's people who think it will. I would hope that he thinks he can. He was on the show. He thought he could. He obviously he thinks that this combination can compete with those guys. He thinks that, you know. Although I don't think you should get in the car unless you think that, you know. So I don't know.
So how old was Kinzer when he won his last championship?
I think he was 50. Let me see this. How old
was he with Stewart yet?
I think so. Yeah, I think he did win. When was I can't remember. He won his last championship.
Because that was, I'm a huge Tony Stewart fan. That was a huge deal when they put Schatz and Kinzer together on the same team.
Right. I'm having to ask AI. They don't even say it. Okay.
But I know he won races well into his 50s. But I don't know when his last championship
His
was.
last win was at 57. It is telling me that. What year was Steve Kinzer's last championship? We better be able to answer that. Although, dirt racing, AI don't probably even know what we're talking about. What's a Steve Kinzer? It says his last one was 2005, and his last win was 2012 at 57. So then his last championship would have been, what is that, 7 years early? So 50, I was right, 50 years old.
50. So Donnie's right at that.
Yeah, Donny Schatz is officially 48.
But see, Sammy Swindell would win the championship if he was in the big game car.
That's
right?
what he thinks, That's what he thinks. That is what he thinks.
So quick question for you. What is the difference between that experimental car that Sammy drives and the one that Dale Blaney drives? Is it essentially the same concept, or are they different?
I don't know. I never dug into both of them. Obviously, there's videos out there of the Blaney one. There's not too many videos of the Sammy one, although it seemed like they wanted it to be secret. I'm sure people asked. But I know that the Sammy one has similar bar. They're not bar cars, I don't believe. They're like some kind of weird Frankenstein coilover.
Yeah, they're both coilovers, I think.
Right, and I don't know if Tanner Thorson was still a coilover style there. I know he was.
I think I think Thorson ran it on the real short tracks, the bull rings.
Right. Right.
I don't think his half-mile car was a coilover.
Right. Well, probably not.
Now they're getting silly. Traction control module falls off the car
onto the scales.
Onto the scales.
Just sweep it off. But
yeah. Well, thanks for taking my call. Are you coming to Volusia?
I don't know as of right now, but I'm thinking. I mean, obviously, we have an opportunity, I guess, to drive Boom Briggs's late model at Hendry County, so we can't say no to that. I mean, I don't know how drunk Boom
That's
was
the
when
place
he
down
agreed.
south, right?
Yeah, that is down south, and that's January. I usually haven't gone down there for that Sunshine Nationals. We'll see. We'll see if I can find some couches to stay on. I don't know if I want to do the couch life this year again. Golly, it's horrible. I hate it. It's just horrible. But we'll see.
Yeah, I'd offer you a place, but the sister is coming down this year to actually use her tickets if she doesn't break her leg.
There you go. I
again.
mean, it's not making business sense. We got to start making business sense with the shows, but we're going to PRI to hopefully make some more business sense of the whole scenario. We'll see what happens. It's going to be extremely
good luck
cold.
there.
Though. It's going to be extremely cold though. There's going to be 30-mile-an-hour winds and 20 degrees on the way there, and then on the way out Saturday. I'm planning to leave Saturday, but it's supposed to be like 10 degrees and 6 inches of snow, and it's. I see why. More reasons as to why you're a snowbird officially now, right, Marv? More reasons.
Yep.
More reasons.
No, did you get a new car?
I did not. I did not. So, the old car's still running though. It's no check engine lights. I mean, that was a goal.
I thought that was the whole point. With the whole point of the.
It was the goal, but I ended up just paying off credit card debt from going to Australia 2 years ago. Getting some debt off of the shoulders, and then gonna try to let the show get the car. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm not starting a damn GoFundMe though. I won't do it. There's no way I'm gonna do it. I could imagine if I was to start a GoFundMe for a vehicle, how bad of a reception that would cause. But we're gonna try to lean on the show and all the work we do here to supply the funds for a vehicle. We'll see what happens. PRI will be interesting.
Yeah, I doubt Kyle and Brad will fund you.
Oh hell no! Oh no! They'll be cheering the day we go under. They're waiting for the day. Kyle's probably hoping that a tire blows out while I'm going over a bridge.
Yeah, have you talked to him or texted him since Volusia and all that stuff happened?
Yeah, I mean, I tried when we were at PA Speed Weeks with Walker. He was near the vehicle, he was next to the vehicle. I said, "Hey, Kyle, you still mad at me?" He's like, "Chaz, if I wanted to talk to you, I'd talk to you." Like, really? Yeah, that was it.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah. Oh, that's so awesome.
I mean, cool in a bad way. Cool isn't frosty.
Well, I mean, everybody wants Kyle to like him. I guess it's good to have him not like you, right? That's a very exquisite list, I guess. Me and Cody Jacobs and the Ginger Kitty phrase on his "I hate you" list.
Well, he even said he's good friends with Denny Hamlin after.
Oh, I know.
All their dust ups.
Oh yeah, they're best friends. I still think that they're private lovers, personally. I really do.
Well, that's not going to help. It's not going to help Kyle like you more. That's for sure.
I can't concern myself on if Kyle Larson likes me or not. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
Does Tyler Walker like you?
I don't know. I haven't talked to him since the whole situation happened over there. Not too many people have talked to him, so I don't know. That's a question as well. Who knows? But I mean, you kind of can't worry if people like you or not. I mean, at the end of the day,
no. But he never got in a race car after PA Speed Week, right?
No, not to my knowledge. I guess he's got something working on for Chili Bowl. I don't know that for a fact. But I don't know. I mean, I gave my effort and tried to do the right thing. That's all I can be concerned about, personally.
Because he was supposed to go to Eldora, right? And that completely fell through.
No, he was at Eldora. We were there for 3 days, and then the whole wheels fell off, and then
But he didn't race there, did he?
yeah, he raced the first 3 nights.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So things happened, and
I
we
guess
pointed it
he
out.
was-
That's what the whole blow up was about Eldora, about how things were handled or mishandled, in my opinion. And we had the crew on. I guess you missed all that, huh?
Yeah, where was I during Eldora?
What the hell are you doing with life?
I was in the hospital the whole month of July. That's what happened.
Oh, there you go. Well, at least you got a good reason for a rain check, right? At
Yeah,
least.
well, I didn't have Eldora tickets for this year. I'm going to try and get there in 27 is my goal.
Nice.
You know, it's on bucket list. This year I'm going to try and catch High Limit at Lernerville, and then they're doing Menominee again. I was hoping that TBD show or TBA was going to be Cedar Lake, but it ended up being Superior, which is too far up, and I think the history of the Outlaws with Cedar Lake kind of kept that from happening.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure that played a huge factor.
Because, you know, Cedar Lake runs Saturday nights, so a midweek show, and I think that TBA was Thursday, because I think Menominee is Tuesday or Wednesday. So, I mean, they could have done it, but what is that? SLS Promotions, who does all those Midwest tracks, they're pretty tight with the Outlaws, and I don't think they promote any high limit shows.
Correct.
Well, so people do think Donny's going to win.
Yeah, they do. We do officially have. It looks like the results are in, and they do think that he is going to win. 82% do.
Yep, and you can up that. Since I'm on the phone, I can't vote in a poll, but I would say yes to that.
Okay.
So that'd bring it up to about 85%. So.
Yep.
Okay. Well, you have a good weekend at PRI.
We're gonna try.
And nice talking to you again. And we'll see you at the races.
We might see you at Volusia. I have a feeling something will bring me down there somehow. Probably this cold weather.
Okay.
They'll freeze me out.
Well, Volusia was great last year weather-wise, but every other year it can be problematic.
Oh, yeah,
So
it can be cold
be
down
careful.
there. But it ain't going to be no 10 degrees or negative 20 wind chill.
No, I remember, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago when I first moved to Florida, they had so much rain that they barely got the race in, and they postponed the modifieds till after the sprint cars ran because, you know, they wanted to make sure they got the Outlaw show in. And Brad Sweet actually had to go in the work area to scrape mud off his car.
Wow.
That's how bad it was.
Yeah, it can get cold. It can get wet. Rain's probably the bigger threat down there, I would say.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly, and that track doesn't handle water well.
No, it doesn't. New dirt, and we'll. Sorry.
Yep. Okay, well, take care, dude.
Okay. Well,
Have
thanks for calling.
Bye.
And that was Marv there. We're talking about the Donny shots, talking about the things coming up. It'll be interesting to see what happens next year. The voting was different. The voting went a little different than I thought it would. Our original vote was 5 or more wins. We had almost 100 votes. 67% say no, but 33% did say yes. Oh, he knocked it down to 4. The results were about the same, or actually the same. But as far as a win, 82% of you think yes. Anyway, that is going to do it for the show. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We are going to be heading to PRI to see how that goes. As always, be sure to subscribe, and we will catch y'all next time. We can ride high, we can ride low, we can ride anywhere we need to go. We can ride all night up to the morning, as long as we make the show. We can be the best, or we can be the worst. We can be the best thing you ever heard. With the motor singing and the grandstands ringing, it's hard to put it all in words. But this is how we